So, I feel like these are two pros that have been on the scene for, quite a while. Most people who follow the scene are, more or less aware of who they are and what they're known for. But we haven't really quite seen either of them with a very good, or like, I'm saying very good as in like number one, but like even number two is fine. What I mean is that I don't think we've seen either of them reach that number one level anytime recently.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're not. What will you say the favorites going to into a tournament? I think the
Right.
most significant, though, is at least as of late, is Creator, who recently did reach the GSL finals, like I think 2 GSL seasons ago.
Right.
And unfortunately, he just he was outmatched. But still, either way, it's pretty impressive. Reaching the GSL finals. It took him like I think over a decade or so to reach that point, which is absolutely insane. I mean, think about it. You're playing a game for over 10 years straight. That's pretty much a commitment right there. And so
Oh yeah. Yep.
that was pretty neat to see.
I think I recall, the camera panning to some audience members. I'm pretty sure we did get to see some of creators, like, real-life family members. And that was really cool because they were all super hyped and all that. So always a treat to watch.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, if there's an admin in the live chat, I think there's a spam thingy going right there, posted there. So if you can remove it, that would be great. If not, then I'll make sure to do it after this game. But anyhow, looks like we have ourselves a kind of a normal opening. Nothing too crazy. We have a Stargate come from a creator, which is pretty much the norm these days in the PvZ.
Yep. Now, I feel like the question is it just going to be one Oracle? Nope, it looks like there will be a second, and we can probably assume a third coming up. And then after that will be probably some sort of Twilight transition.
Yeah, looks like in the meantime, we're going to have our Oracle serving as the high ground vision guy here, just to make sure that Overlord is cleared up.
Oh, interesting. So Creator is taking the triangle third base. Would you say that that's also sort of part of the meta nowadays for PvZ?
I'm sorry, come again?
The triangle base that Creator just put down.
Oh,
the Nexus location?
Yeah. I guess it's interesting because there's always that the possibility that the Zerg will be doing something quite aggressive. While Queen walks aren't the norm these days, I mean they're still an option, I guess.
Sure. Right.
And maybe a Roach bus, or a Ling Bangling, mass Lings Banglings or something of that sort. But I think generally with Stargate openings, they're they're generally safe. So I guess it's okay. He takes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would, if we were able to get the an interview, maybe that would be something that would be asked, like why did you go for the triangular base instead of the 6 o'clock 7 o'clock ish base instead?
Right. And I'm definitely not trying to knock pro players, but I feel like a lot of those interviews that we get to see, like a lot of them just sort of go like, oh yeah, I just felt like it, or oh yeah, it's just basics, or like a very short, curt answer. Because in their minds, it's really just not like they're just going through the motions, and these pro players, especially in pro matches, they have a lot more on their minds than just these details that you and I get hung up on, and it's so interesting because like during the interviews, maybe sometimes they come off as aloof, but I feel like really it's just because like to them it really literally is not a big deal.
Yeah, that's a good point. It looks like in the meantime there's going to be a Ling run by here. Not doing too much damage, but some nice poking and poking in and out.
Ooh, okay, I see you, Solar. He's going for a Spire. I like it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can't help but think, maybe this run by was meant to. Okay, so there is a fourth Nexus coming up. I'm sure that Solar wants to contest that fourth maybe, since his +1 melee just finished. But he's also getting the roach speed upgrade, so what do you think? Do you think that he's committed to mutas? I feel like maybe he's just going to make 5 or so. You know, just to keep Creator on his toes and then back into that sort of wing-heavy style.
Yeah, I mean, there literally wouldn't be too many reasons for him to go for roach speed right now, unless he was planning to go, you know, transition into it. So yeah, that could be a possibility. You know, just making a couple of Mutalisks just to try to catch the Protoss off guard. He knows that there is a Stargate out there for the Protoss, so you know, it makes Mutalisks a bit harder to pull off. So if you're committed to Mutalisks, you got to make sure that you really catch the Protoss by surprise, which is a little bit difficult considering, you know, there is that Oracle to help scout. There's also that Observer, which does catch eye on that Spire. So Creator, he does know that there are Mutalisks possibly on the way, and it does force him to queue up and Phoenix there.
Yeah, and at the same time, Solar did actually get a Changeling into the main. Oh, it was just killed off by a Hero Probe. But this is really interesting. We see Solar making Corruptors, so I think that both players are going to start to commit into this air versus air battle, which is really, really cool to see. The Mutas are going to try to dive on top. They back off after seeing that hallucinated Archon. But we also see these Lings coming into the third base location. Oracle putting in some work before it gets gunned down by the Mutas. Phoenixes are going to force the rest of the army back, but this is the benefit of Mutas. You can just circle back up into the main because they don't care about that high ground.
Yeah, and let's look at how many Mutalisks there are out there. 16. So I guess apparently he was committed to it. You know, I guess it's okay because he does have the Corruptors to back him up. So even though, you know, the Protoss does have Phoenixes, the Corruptors should be able to at least deal with them. But yeah, it looks like these Mutalisks are starting to possibly snowball. But actually, that's a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot, but a good decent amount of Phoenixes. He is working off of 2 Stargates, so this should be able to help him deal better with it, these Mutalisks. But oh, actually, these Mutalisks gonna snipe out that one of the Stargate. Does slow down the production of the Phoenixes.
Oh man, this is getting pretty chaotic pretty quickly. Now the Stalker Cola army is moving across the map. At the same time, the entire mineral line over at the 4th base of Creator has gone down. Some Lings are getting into the natural as well, but the base of Solar is also under fire. We've got some Mutas and some Corruptors being a little bit misrallied, but I believe that, yep, so the Skyzer does come back to try to deal with this. Looks like that hatchery will be sacrificed, but the Mutas are going to start diving on top. They do get the Warp Prism. Is this going to be enough to hold? I'm not so sure, because that is a lot of Stalkers.
Oh yeah, looks like we have a dwindling amount of Mutalisks. It's 10 still, but the Phoenixes are, there's at least a couple of them in the backside. These Colossus trying to be microed in the back. And I think just barely Solar is going to clean this up.
Oh, no way! Oh, that was crazy. That fight really, I feel like that fight could have gone either way, seriously. That was amazing.
Yeah. Now, wow.
But now we're starting to see that snowball effect of the Zerg sort of composition. You know, you've got a lot of Lings, you've got a lot of cheap units. Solar is just rallying across the map. He knows that he has got a huge advantage now. Look at that supply. I feel like there's... well, I mean, I'm not going to say that Creator is, like, out of the game just yet, but it's getting pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of army, Solar has the advantage. He's the one in the driver's seat. Creator, on the other hand, not only does he have to play passively and play like a turtle, but he's working off of less economy. He's sitting at 56 workers compared to the 81 of Solar. And it looks like Solar, you know, he's going to go ahead and remake that hatchery. The Mutalisk count still scary at 16 as well. So, yeah, I'm liking Solar's position right now.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Creator wants to go for one last push. A lot of Stalkers, just a small handful of Phoenixes, and it looks like he will be committing to the Stalker army. which I do like. You know, you have the most micro potential there, but it's not going to be enough against the Lings, I don't think, especially with +2 on the way.
Yeah, that upgrade will play an important factor as we head into what could be the final battle here, as both both players actually bypassing one another.
Oh no, this looks like every single one of my games. Oh, okay, alright, so Solar, okay, they're both coming back. Oh, a little bit of a dance. Okay, it looks like we've got a maxed out Ling Muta Corruptor army up against a 135 supply Stalker based army. I am not so sure if this is going to go well, but you never know. We do have a force field to try to limit some of that surface area. But look at that, the Lings are just chewing through all of the Stalkers so quickly. Look at, oh my gosh, that was crazy. Solar is going to take game number 1. You know, I feel like if Creator had committed to maybe an Immortal Archon Charge-a-Lot type of army, then we might have seen a count of Banelings. But yeah, that was I'm still amazed by how quickly those Lings chewed through all of those Stalkers at the end there. That that went by like in the blink of an eye. So
yeah, those +1 Lings, they're as deadly as those cockroaches in your house. You gotta clean them up as soon as possible. If not, they can infest your nexus there. But anyhow, you mentioned how you would have loved to see Creator go for that Charge-a-Lot, Immortal, Archon kind of army composition, and I agree with you. I think had he skipped the Colossus and went straight for the Archons, I mean, the Archons would have been able to deal with the Lings, with the Mutalisks, with the Corruptors. Even if there was Banelings, those Archons would have fared well against them as well. So yeah, I think he could have actually made that game either a lot closer or in favor of himself by just going for Archons and skipping the Colossus deck.
yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, either way, it's always a difficult decision. It kind of feels like, especially for our viewers in the chat who do actually play StarCraft, many of us know that you can make a decision in a split second and it could have ramifications for the rest of the game. You could also, take your time with things and it could still end in an instant, so it's like the timeline of things in this game. They can go very quickly, they can go on kind of a delayed pace, but it's hard to tell until you're in the replay, I feel like.
Yeah, and if memory serves me correctly, I think he actually went Colossus before even scouting the Spire, so I guess
Right.
it would have been difficult either way to scout ahead of time and go for the Archons instead. And I guess that does make sense why he went for that triangular base. Colossus is more suited for close base-to-base action, as the Colossus are slow, so you want them to quickly travel to the enemy's base as soon as possible.
That's true.
Yeah, so that explains why he did go for the Colossus. Because if he did go for the longer, or the 6 or 7 o'clock base, then it would have taken longer for those Colossus to reach the Zerg's base. And it seems like he was going for a timing attack, maybe, possibly with those Colossus.
Right. So all in all, nothing too crazy here in the early game. We do have a couple of adepts, trying to keep Solar on his toes, make sure that he has an adequate number of Lings ready to defend, as well as, maybe sort of scouting out the number of villains, making sure that Solar isn't cheesing him or doing any sort of early aggressive push. And then, of course, we've got the Oracles doing their best to scout as well. I don't think that they've gotten too many kills, I believe. Yeah, so just one kill between the two of them, so I'm sure that Solar is pretty happy with his drone count right now.
Yeah, always great to have no drones killed, or at least a very few. It looks like he has a couple of adepts to contend, and I think he should be able to have enough. It looks like he has a decent amount of Lings. He's got the Queens at the front. And as long as he continues this and doesn't lose any drones to these Oracles, I think he should be set up really well. I mean, when you're playing against a Zerg that doesn't, suffer in terms of early drone damage, it does really kind of help these Zerg. Actually, I see that.
Ouch.
One Oracle
So
does fall.
One Oracle down.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's 5 drones.
Now, do you think that that's a good trade? 5 drones for an Oracle.
That's kind of hard to say.
I guess because the Oracle, it does more than just harass, right? It's also the utility behind it.
Yeah. I would have liked maybe 6, possibly 7. But I think 5, it's a little bit less than what I would personally like, but I think it's, I guess, okay-ish enough that at least you got something, right?
Sure, yeah. Oh, I do like this.
Oh,
very nice. That's about like 2/3 to 3/4 of the mineral line actually disrupted. Even though those drones are alive, they are not actually going to be able to... Oh, that one Oracle getting very low. But anyways, they are not actually going to be able to mine. Oh, okay. A few queens also get caught. Yeah, this Oracle... Oh, rallying right over the Spore Crawler. Okay, it will get out alive. So here we're going to get into a bit more of a traditional kind of Zerg versus Terran. We see Lings, Roaches, Ravagers, and a Baneling Nest on the production tab. So I think that... Oh, but Creator is also going for a move out. So this could be a response to this move out.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult because this area right here, it's going to be a little awkward for both players. If Solar allows Creator to get onto the high ground, then it could get kind of difficult for him. On the other hand, if Solar does take control of the high ground, then it's going to be hard for Creator to get on top and attack that hatchery. And it looks like actually these Lings are pulling Creator back home here. So interesting. It looks like he was actually going to go for attack. It was lining up nicely with his blink, but he's going to think twice of it. Instead, just going to retreat and go once again Colossus tech.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised by that decision, actually, because it looked like Creator might have been able to sort of take advantage of that ramp where the rocks are. But who knows, maybe he figured, okay, there's this huge Ling run by, maybe I do have enough at home, maybe I don't, I'd rather play it safe. Maybe he figured that Solar's Ravagers might, have a little bit too much potential damage, but in any case, he is just waiting for the double Robo to really start to kick in. He's producing 2 Colossi, not just 1, but 2 at a time. He's getting his upgrades besides Blink, so this next power-up for Protoss is going to be much more significant than just Blink, because Blink gives Creator utility. It does not give him potential to strike a killing blow against this kind of army. Now, speaking of which, Solar is actually moving out. Huge Ling run by over by the 4th base. And at the same time, the Roach Ravager is trying to move up the ramp. Ooh, this actually is getting a little bit dangerous as the Stalkers are surrounded. They do get a blink, though. Banelings are going to start coming in, rolling into the 3rd base. Look at that. Good force fields forcing the Banelings into the Stalkers.
Oh my god, that was beautiful force fields that completely blocked all the Banelings into the probe line. And what was looking like a scary situation with those Stalkers being caught out in the kind of somewhat in the middle. Now, all of a sudden, Creator with a decent, solid hold there, and he does survive with 4 bases, by the way. Well, actually, his 4th base did get canceled, or killed, but.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but he does remake that.
But now the supplies are much closer together. During that attack, I believe it was something like 185 Zerg supply against like maybe 140 Protoss supply. Now it's a little bit closer. Creator just doing his best to, contest the creep spread a little bit, trying to keep it back on the other half of the map while still building up his own army at home. He's getting that static defense, he's getting that safety Dark Shrine, as I like to call it. He's getting more Colossi. So we're headed, sort of into the mid-late game. I do like where this is headed. We do have a Viper coming up. But we are going to see some, a little bit more complex kind of gameplay, if you will. These Stalkers, okay, so they do blink away. Good reaction time. And thankfully, they're close enough to the rest of the army that they will be safe for the time being. That is a lot of banelings, and the creep is starting to really get close to that third base.
Yeah, 39 banelings on the field there. And the creator, I think he might want to either add in some additional sentries for some force fields, or maybe add some start adding some archons, maybe with those DTs, because yeah, that's a lot of banelings, like you mentioned, and don't want them to connect to your army.
Oh wow. I've never seen a Colossus get that low and survive.
Yeah, that Colossus should count its lucky stars, because it was just barely inches to death. I guess
Oh yeah.
that's like a kind of.
They need to call up Jim Raynor and ask for SCVs to start repairing it or something. If only Protoss had repair. Buff Protoss? Right? Question mark? Sorry. Anyways.
Alright.
So we've got a maxed out Ling Bane Roach Ravager army. Stalkers are going to try and blink around, but oh, those Banelings are starting to connect on the front lines of those Stalkers. They are going to start to go down. Colossi are trying their best to kite back. They will get a chance by wrapping around that sort of corner rock over there. We do also see Archons out on the field, so there is a little bit more staying power from this army that was, interestingly enough, split up into two for a little bit.
Yeah, I was like wondering where the rest of his army was, because I was like, that army is looking quite small at this time period, but yeah, apparently half of his army was away from it. And I'm like, okay, there it is. Now it looks better.
Right, and honestly, I do kind of like it, you know? You keep the Stalkers active, you keep the Zerg on their toes, and you get to sort of control the flow of the game, right? Because, for example, here, Creator wanted all these Lings of base, but the Vipers are going to abduct almost all the Colossi. Banelings are connecting onto a lot of the Stalkers, but just enough Protoss is still left over to hold against the rest of the Roach Ravager. But as I was saying, the Stalkers wanted to sort of force that fight in a way, right? I feel like Creator wanted to bait the Ling Bane into the Colossus range, which is exactly what they did. Even though 3 of them were abducted, there are still 4 of them remaining out and about on the field. Looks like Solar is going to be the one on the defense. That Oracle is getting pretty low. The Queens are not going to finish it off just yet. But this could be it. I feel like this is going to be the final engagement.
Yeah, that is very, very possible. I mean, there's a lot of Archons still, a lot of Colossus 4 in fact. And there we go, all these Lings and Banelings and I guess Ravagers are just trying to kite around, but he does lose the hatchery, so even if Creator does, end up, not able to kill Solar off here, I think he should be okay, but gotta make sure not to lose too many. I mean, in fact, I think he should just go ahead and retreat for now.
Yeah, I agree. You kill a base and you go home.
Yeah, recoup.
But Creator getting a little bit aggressive here with those Stalkers, once again trying to pick off extra drones here and there. And he is getting a Templar Archives. Oh, right, because he got that DT Shrine. So that's where the Archons have been producing out of. But obviously DTs are not preferred when it comes to Archons because they are simply so mineral expensive. Even though you're saving just that little bit of gas, it's not really quite worth it. Banelings starting to connect back onto the Stalkers. Stalkers have to retreat the other way, but the Archons and the Immortals and that one last Colossus are here to save the day. That Colossus, how many? It has 23 kills. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man, give a medal to that Colossus. That Colossus is a beast.
Oh yeah. Small Ling run by. I don't think it's. Oh, but actually there. Oh, okay. So the Warpin just barely not on location to wall off completely. These Lings are gonna chomp away at that cannon pretty quickly and get all the way up into the main. So this will delay any sort of Protoss move out for quite a while. And it looks like these Stalkers are left out and alone on the map. They do see that the Ravager Baneling army is coming across the map, so that will give Peter a little bit of a heads up. But yeah, I was gonna say the Archons are a pretty good move. Oh, check this out. Okay, yeah. I thought the Banelings were gonna crash onto that one Archon.
Yeah, that's all his Archon buddies right there to save the day. And yeah, you gotta keep in mind that these lings here are in +3, so any ling run-bys could do, actually theoretically do a significant amount of damage, so Creator might want to go ahead and shore that up. But in the meantime, looks like, oh, actually some of his army is a little bit segmented here on both ramp areas. All Colossus has been sniped off. Now all that remains are Archons, but look at here, looks like Creator's starting to add in those disruptors, which is pretty smart because a lot of Solar's army is invested into those Lings, Banelings, and Ravagers, and I think Disruptors should be able to fare better against that compared to Colossus.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those weird things where even though the Colossus is more consistent, the Disruptor may have more potential overall. Oh, speaking of potential, okay, a pretty decent hit on that chunk of Banelings. Another one. Oh, oh no. Oh, not like this. What use is abducting them if they've already fired? Oh no. Oh, but we do see some good Baneling hits on that recent warp-in of Zealots, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Look at the supply. Even though Solar has been ahead this entire game, pretty much. Oh, he biled down his own Overlord, unfortunately. Even though he's been ahead in supply, it hasn't necessarily been in quality supply. This army is definitely a do-or-die quantity, numbers over quality sort of army. And now that Creator is pushing forward again, it looks like Solar might have to tap out because the supplies are now even and drones are falling.
Yeah, this might just be the end. All the Lings has been decimated, and all that remains is those Ravagers. A GG, Creator ties up the series. Alright, so means that we are spawning in the map of the Moondance. Tell me, TeaDragon, what is your favorite Michael Jackson song that gets you into the moon dance kind of mood?
Man. You know, I was never a big pop fan. I could vibe with some Michael Jackson, but I definitely have to be in the mood for it, you know?
Alright, so let's say you get invited by some friends to a karaoke session.
Ooh.
And there's a selection of songs. Like, what song are you choosing to dance to karaoke?
That's a good question. See, here's the thing, Snoopy. You probably could have guessed by now, but because I'm usually the designated driver, I don't actually participate in a lot of that.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think amongst my friends I would also be the designated driver because I don't drink, so I'm not gonna.
Oh hell yeah!
I'm not gonna go home drunk or anything, so I can drive my friends if they are.
Snoopy. I like it.
Although as Snoopy, I don't have any disposable dumps, so maybe I'm not the best driver, but.
Ooh, that Adept getting so low on health. Ooh. She is a trooper.
Yeah.
She's seen things. It always amazes me how, these very, very early game Ling versus Adept fights can go. Sometimes it feels like Adepts are really, really overpowered, and then other times it feels like Lings are really, really overpowered.
I think it's all a matter of perspective. I think.
Yeah,
some players they have more trouble dealing with certain things, and then they call it overpowered and.
Right.
And then if you're a Terran player, then you call everything overpowered. No, I'm just playing.
Oh, look at that! A nice wraparound from the Lings, killing off that Adept. Now we do see. I believe this is a quicker Twilight cancel this time around because we only see 2 Oracles out on the field.
Yeah.
Or actually, I might have to take that back. I'm not sure if this is that much quicker.
Well, certainly he's. Oh, there we go. Looks like Adept Waves. I mean, it makes sense because usually the Protoss, if they're gonna cut the 3rd Oracle off, then that means they're gonna invest that gas into something. And yeah, looks like it will be Glaive Adepts. And actually, this is pretty smart. I think he made that 4th gas as a bait, or as a kind of a deceiving maneuver. Because
right? Yeah.
Because Solar is going to be thinking like, okay, the Protoss is on 4 bases. He's probably not going to attack, but in fact, that 4th gas isn't being mined at all.
Right. I will say this though, the Lings have been putting in some pretty good work here, and more Lings are streaming across the map, so a little bit of an awkward sort of timing versus timing, because we've got the Lings just streaming across the map. Now they're actually starting to kill some probes, which is not what Creator wants at all at this stage in the game, so a little bit unfortunate. I feel like Creator's timing just didn't really line up. I feel like maybe he wanted to have all this out maybe a little bit sooner in time for the Lings, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is going to hurt really badly for Creator. He's going to have to do a ton of damage with these Adepts to make the Lost Third worth it.
Yeah. Oh no, but the Stalker in the wall goes down. The Lings are in. Okay, so the Adepts get blocked by the wall. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow. In an instant, Solar is going to take game number 3. If I were Solar right now, I'd be sort of breathing a sigh of relief as I do get to put my hatch in the natural base location rather than having to put it in the 3rd base.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels so good. At least when I play Zerg, when you're able to get your hash down, because I mean, if the Protoss did send an early probe, not only does he lose a couple of mining rounds, but if you're able to get the hash down, then you're like, haha, you sent out your probe early for no reason. And it's kind of like the difference between catching the bus on time and not able to catch the bus. When you're you wake up in the morning, you catch that bus, and the bus you're able to catch the bus on time. You're like, yes, all is well with the world. But then if you're like there at the bus stop and the bus just barely drives away, and like, oh, I hate the world, kill me.
Yeah. Yep. Basically, it sets you up for a terrible day. Nothing can go right, and your life is over.
Alright, so Glaive being Chrono, we should expect a Stargate soon. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna start the Warp Gate, so maybe not.
Okay. Well, Creator is banking a little bit of gas. Maybe it's just a little late. Maybe he's... Well, actually, I have no clue. Maybe Creator forgot? Question mark?
Oh man, if he did, then...
Could be really bad. Yeah. He still hasn't made any tech. He's almost at 300 gas.
Is he saving for both, like, maybe Twilight and Robo? Maybe that's why? No, he's getting 300. 300 gas.
Uh-oh. Is this a thing? I don't think so, right? Oh, it's double star, or maybe he's...
Oh, okay, there we go. That's why. Double Stargate.
Nice.
Interesting.
Okay, so we're about to see a lot of Phoenixes, I think. Or, well, actually, it could still be Void Rays, right?
You know what? I'm just secretly hoping for, like, 20 Oracles out there.
Yes, more Oracles.
Remember the good old days where Protoss could be able to just like make the two Stargate like mass Oracles and just zap away everything.
Oh yeah, it's like, what do you mean I have extra minerals? I'll just make zealots, you know? And then, those were some fun games. Okay, so it looks like it will be double Stargate Phoenix. I wonder if Solar has any idea. It doesn't look like he's gotten a scout off into the main. He does have Overlords in position. Lings are, posted up outside of the natural base location. But he is getting his safety spires. He's not skipping the Rotoran, so he is, playing it safe. But I think that the Lings are starting to notice that the third Nexus is late, so the Lings are going to stay outside of this location for now. Overlord is going to be sacrificed.
Ooh.
I don't think it's going to make it all the way in. Oh, look, and the Phoenixes are actually going to hide themselves.
Oh, this is going to be close. Oh, yes, he does not see it.
Wow, okay. I like this. I like this a lot. Creator coming out with a very, very interesting opener here.
Yeah, you know, Solar must be thinking like, what is going on here? Still no Dirge.
Yeah.
He's like, he's trying really hard to like hide something.
Oh, interesting. And Zealots as well. So maybe Creator's trying to do a fake out charge lot type of thing. No, but he sees the Phoenixes have revealed themselves. They are going to move across the map and start working on these queens. So by now, I think that Solar does have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Now, these Phoenixes are a little bit tanky. One of them is getting quite low on health, though, so they are just going to start working on these Overlords, and that will cost Zerg quite a few minerals.
Yeah. Now Creator does take the worker lead here, and still a lot of Phoenixes left over. There's still a couple of chunk of Zealots and a few Adepts to deal with, so you know Solar has to keep that in mind. But oh, looky here, we have a Nidus coming up.
Oh, speaking of things to deal with, yeah, I don't know if Phoenixes are going to be able to adequately defend against a Nidus. Now, an Immortal is coming up, so... Okay, Solar is going to place down the Nidus outside of the natural, so he just wants a quicker rally and to sort of scoop Creator, I think. But is Creator going to be able to defend against this? I'm not too sure. The Queens are going to... They have a lot of energy. They will be able to start placing down creep tumors, and they can transfuse if need be. We do see some Ravagers now on the field. These Zealots are a little bit vulnerable now. Okay, that wall is going to get a little bit vulnerable as well. Oh, okay, so there is a sentry with a force field. The Bile will break that force field. Okay, this is getting pretty scary. Do you think that Creator is in a good position? I'm not too sure.
Oh, I don't know. He does have the shield batteries finishing on the right side, but the left side seems a bit more vulnerable. Solar is attacking that area, and all the force field has run out. There's one shield battery that's just going to complete there, but is it going to be enough? I think the corrosive bio should be able to take that maybe. Actually, no, he does not.
Oh, wait a second.
Oh my goodness, I think Solar, I mean, sorry, Creator, I think he's going to be able to hold.
Oh, but the pylon just went down. The pylon in the natural just went down, so the left side is still vulnerable, and that one Immortal is just seconds away from finishing. There is another pylon in the back that was previously made, so that Immortal will finish. I think, yeah, I agree with you just barely. You know, the Zealots and the Adepts on the right side with a bunch of shield batteries. Very, very well played by Creator. But on the left side, letting that wall go down and trying to, you know, sort of compensate with the Phoenixes, adding on Immortal tech and adding in that one Oracle. It does have pretty significant anti-Ling DPS, I would say. Now, these Ravagers are starting to get a little bit more value, but the Phoenixes have been able to pick them off. The Queens are getting a little bit lower on energy, so that will be something to watch out for. Once the Queens are out of energy, all of their utility is gone.
Yeah, a lot of them are low on energy right now, and you know, Creator playing this so patiently. Notice he's not gone in with his units on the right side. He's going to go ahead and activate the shield battery overcharge, and now that it does get sniped out, he's going to go ahead and send the rest of his army. The Phoenixes lift up the rest of the Queens.
Very nice. Oh, look at that. Stalkers are going to start slowly working on whatever's left up stranded in the air, but the Phoenixes do have enough energy to keep on lifting these Queens and those Ravagers. Now, funnily enough, there is some static defense here to sort of ground the Zerg, but it's not going to be enough. Creator is going to tie up this series. We are going to a game number 5.
And spawning here at the top right, he's our red Zerg from the nation of Korea. It is Solar.
And spawning here once again, it is the blue Protoss for Team NV. It is Creator.
Alright, things starting out well for our Protoss, as he does get off the block. And, oh, actually a little bit of Butterfingers there from Solar. Does pull a couple of drones, so might have been a little bit of a misclick there.
Dude, it's GG. I mean, like, you know, well played, Solar, but you know, I think Creator takes this game. So let's go to the next series, please. Thank you.
Yeah. We should just GG out.
Oh man, I cannot tell you how many times, even just today, I was just telling you, Snoopy, earlier that like I played something like 20-something games today. I probably fat-fingered maybe like 5 out of those 20 games. It was ridiculous.
Wow. I'm actually interested to see the latter games.
Oh yeah, we can.
I'm sure there's some fun ones.
Oh yeah, fun is a word for them. Oh, that one probe. Oh, yeah. Haha, you can't catch me. I stole your mineral. What are you gonna do? Oh! Okay, alright, it's gonna get out. Wow. Ling's on intercept trajectory. It might still be able to get it.
Just one. Oh, what?
Wow.
Okay, so I guess he was just afraid of the adept.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
But in fact, the adept actually went to the left side.
Okay, so are we gonna see a repeat? Are we gonna see Creator go for the double Stargate opener once again? I feel like, you know, we're getting close to 300 minerals. Excuse me, 300 gas. Is it time? It's time, Snoopy.
It's possibly. Oh. There we go.
Don't fix what's not broken.
You know what? I'm not mad at it. If it worked in the first, in the last game, I think it could possibly work in this game.
Yeah. I feel like any lesser Protoss might have failed on the defense, because that Nidus was so quick. It was ridiculously quick. Like, Solar, he had a very prompt response to losing the economic lead. He was like, dude, okay, I've got this Nidus, I've got 50 million queens, and I'm gonna go across the map. And I feel like if it were any other, you know, lower tier Protoss, it would have succeeded, because that kind of response is, in my opinion, pretty powerful.
Yeah, and you know what? Initially, when the Nidus did pop off and, you know, Solar was making its way into the natural, I thought like he could have actually broken that much quicker, and that he could have. I mean, there was not a lot of shield batteries there. You know, there's not a lot of army there. So, but I think Solar just played it too patiently, and allowed Creator to, you know, finish those shield batteries, get some more Phoenixes, get some more units, some more Immortals out in the field. But if if Solar was able to get maybe the Nidus Swarm on into the main base instead of the outside base, then, you know, we could see a situation where Creator did lose his main base, lose his production, a lot of his production buildings, and possibly see, you know, Solar close out the series.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Phoenixes are sharking around, trying to see whatever they can pick off. That one Phoenix, I like that move, very cute. Leaving one Phoenix behind on the opposite side of the map to pick off any scouting drones, scouting overlords, whereas the main force are gonna, you know, keep the Zerg on their toes over at the main base and whatnot. Run by not quite able to get too much done. There is an adequate number of zealots and adepts. Now, that's kind of curious to me. Is there any particular reason why Creator would go for zealots? Is he really trying to save that much gas?
You know what? Actually, let me just take a look here. Oh, okay, interesting. So I was thinking like, if Solar did scout the double Stargate, then maybe this is a Creator's way of, kind of changing his or trying to kind of do a 90 degrees and just go for like a mass charge lock kind of immortal Archon thingy.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he could very well continue to do so, but actually gonna be a robotics base. So, interesting. So, yeah, I guess he's going for disruptors as he sees a lot of queens there and roaches as well.
Right. Okay, so that Overseer did pause over the main base. It did get a full scout off. But question is, was Solar paying attention? It was in his vision, but did he actually click on the buildings to see what they were? I don't think I saw the highlight. You know how, like, observers, we get to see the highlights of whatever the players are currently selected?
Yeah.
So I don't think Solar actually saw that it was a robo-base. That could be pretty key. Now, he is committing to a lot of corruptors. He really wants to shut down these Phoenixes, but this could be an overcommitment. If he makes too many corruptors, then he's not going to have enough for the ground.
Yeah. I think there's a possibility just Solar has misread or something of that nature, because there's not a lot of units right now. A lot of corruptors kind of just making his way across, kind of trying to find those Phoenixes, but the Phoenixes does completely bypasses them. Okay, looks like
yeah,
looks like Creator's going to actually retreat here, so kind of giving Solar a little bit of a scare. And I think he's just going to try to increase his disruptor count before he actually goes in for a commitment. Because right there, he didn't have any disruptors, or at least if he did, he only had like one or so.
It feels like he's completely giving up the air control right now. So he has seen the corruptors out on the field, and he is committed full on to a ground-based army. He's getting that charge. He's getting that +1. He just finished +1 weapons. Now he's getting +1 armor, which is perfect for zealots. He's also getting archons. So, combined with the disruptors, this could actually be a very, very scary ground Protoss army.
Yeah. I think it's really going to come down to the disruptor dodging for Solar.
Yeah. I agree,
it hasn't come to a point where it's too scary, but it has come to a point where there are, a decent amount of ground units. And actually, Solar just going to go for the Link counterattack and try to pull Creator's army back, but actually gets the +1 armor upgrade there. So looks like Creator will be stuck on +1 weapons for now, and actually mixing in some fake Archons. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, some of those banelings detonating on the Archons. Ling run by from earlier does wrap around to the back, forcing a recall. No! Oh, look at that. Solar completely stomping the ground Protoss army. Barely any got out. I think maybe only one Archon actually succeeded in recalling. So now Solar is going to press the offensive once again. He's got a huge supply lead. He got the value from the corruptors that he didn't really need, honestly. Now he's got a bunch of Ling Bane Ravager, and he's ready to steamroll his opponent. I'm pretty scared for Creator right now. I don't know if he's going to be able to hold. Oh, look at that. Lings immediately get in. Roaches are going to keep attacking. Oh, Baneling's stuck behind the Roach line. A little bit awkward from the Zerg. But finally, they do find the space to stream on forward. Stalkers are doing their best to kite backwards. Charge lots are coming forward once again. But Solar, in game number 5, is going to take this series 3-2. Very well played.